Well, this is it. The final round, the championship of the 32 beer triple elimination challenge. And it's come down to this, Weihenstephaner versus Hofbräu. So, in the last round, Hofbräu had beat Weihenstephaner, which brought it down into the two-time loser bracket, where it is now facing off against Hofbräu once again in the two-time loser bracket. And I just found out that in German that A umlaut U letters at the end of a word has an OI sound. So this is the correct German pronunciation of this is Hofbräu. I didn't know that. Hofbräu. Anyway, the last time Hofbräu won, it was because that the Weihenstephaner tasted rather flat and watery in comparison. So I was very careful as to pour these as gently as possible as to not stir up any bubbles in the tube. So we get a look at them, and you can see right away here that the amount of carbonation or bubbles being produced in both of these is virtually identical, although there is a bit more foam on top of the Hofbräu. And most of the bubbles and the mixing up has come from the last few drops pouring in there, causing it to get a little foamy, and maybe more so with the Hofbräu. And I'm also going to try these with food. So I got some sausage here because these are German beers. So what better to try a German beer than with German food? And the closest I have to German food is sausage with some onions. So there's my sausage that I just finished cooking. And I got I mixed a little bit of onions in there. And I got some mustard. Not German mustard, but it was Dijon mustard. Close enough. So, sausage and mushroom with beer. And what are we going to do about this here? I can't really open my eyes and do this as long as there's some foam on top of this one. Yeah, it's not going away, it's making it worse. Okay, so I'll do some blind taste tests now. And we will just see how these taste right out of their bottles without any food or anything else. We'll see if this is consistent with the last time, because Hofbräu was much more flavorful compared to the flatter, weaker, watery tasting Weihenstephaner, which was uncharacteristic of that beer. Because up until then, Weihenstephaner has always been a very rich, flavorful, carbonated beer, crisp, just a joy to drink. And let's see if it holds true. All right, that should be good enough. I haven't been paying attention. So I'm going to try it with a sip. Again, that done was kind of weak, actually, surprisingly. And that was much stronger. So again, I'm thinking this is Hofbräu and this is Weihenstephaner, and again, this is watery and weak tasting, not crisp. Something wrong here. Man, that's just not good. What is going on with this beer? I don't understand it. It's done so well up to this point. So much better. Well, let's go ahead. Since there was some food, I'll try with some sausage and onions here. Good, but again, still weak. Much better, much better. I don't know what's going on. Honestly. It's like these beers shouldn't be in the same contest. I thought it was going to be difficult to choose between Weihenstephaner and Hofbräu, but the difference is so stark, and one is so much better than the other, that I can pick the Hofbräu right now. But man, it's just not good like it was before, and I don't understand it. This is fresh out of the bottle. I bought both these today at the same store at the same time. And Hofbräu is walking away with this. What is it? Does anybody out there have an explanation? I certainly don't. How could this be? In my previous matchups, Weihenstephaner tasted crisp and flavorful, and now it's tasting watery and weak and flat. But we saw during the pour, or shortly after the pour, it's still got a good amount of carbonation coming up. But it's just so much lacking compared to the Hofbräu. But I can say this. Weihenstephaner was the highest rated of my 32 beers. And in that first round, it advanced through 4 or 5 rounds undefeated until it went up against Kronenbourg, which sent it down into the silver bracket. Now, so it's always going up against a significantly lower rated beer. In the first round, it went up against Old Milwaukee. Beat it, as you would expect. Corona beat it. Who else? I don't know. But, some beers that are not that good. Because the bracket was arranged, and the highest rated beer would go against the lowest rated beer. Second highest against second lowest, and so on. Next round, same thing. Highest against lowest rated of those who won the first time. So start with 32 beers. Then we got round 2 in gold, 16 beers. We got Hofbräu going against Corona. And then out of those 16, 8 winners, you get Hofbräu, and not Hofbräu, but Weihenstephaner going against the lowest rated beer, which was another, not so good beer or a fairly low rated beer. So it's just walked through those. The same with Hofbräu, but it's surprisingly lost in the second round of the gold bracket against a crappy beer. I don't know why, but at that time I thought that beer was better. Which one was it? I can't remember. But Hofbräu even went up against Czech Budweiser and beat it. They met more than once, and one time Czech Budweiser, I think, beat the Hofbräu, and then another time Hofbräu beat Czech Budweiser. So, one of these 2 beers is the best out of the 32 that I started with. And it's looking like it's going to be Hofbräu. Now, does that surprise you? It kind of surprises me. Because I go to German restaurants every now and then. And when I do, typically, if they don't have any Doppelbock, I'll probably get a Hofbräu. And I'm drinking a Hofbräu at the German restaurant, and I'm not thinking to myself, man, this is a really great, outstanding beer. Although my opinion might change the next time I go based on this 32 beer challenge. And so, it's surprising. But I think what I'll do here is I'll try it again. Since I got a 6-pack of each of this. And before I call it for Hofbräu, I'll fill these glasses again with one of each. And see which one's better. Because right now, Hofbräu is a clear winner. And I just want to make sure that it's not a fluke. 2 fresh beers, and you can watch me pour them. To make sure that I pour them nice and smooth and don't stir them up and don't cause them to go flat during the pour. No foam, no bubbles. Nice and smooth. I can tell you one thing. When both these glasses just had a couple of drinks left in them, when they were about the equal level of flatness, the Weihenstephaner tasted better. But let's see, straight out of the bottle, that's another story. Probably should have just drank them right out of the bottle. But it's too late now, isn't it? So these should be as crisp as possible. Side by side, virtually indistinguishable. And in fact, if you was to ask me to pick one out, just by looking at it, there we go, that's that last few drops there, I stirred it up. Same thing that happened last time. So anyway, virtually indistinguishable, other than a little bit of foam on the Hofbräu. Now, again, well, it's good, it's smooth, but it tastes weak. Much stronger, much more flavor, especially in the finish. Yeah, there's a significant difference between these two, and Hofbräu is better, in my opinion. It's stronger. Now, when it gets down, when each beer gets about that much left, then the Weihenstephaner tastes better, because then this, most of the carbonation has gone out of this. It's weaker. And the flavor of the Weihenstephaner has retained throughout the entire glass, whereas the flavor of this, it's pretty much retained, but it's more watery and flatter, not as crisp. So it's really the crispness that offsets the stronger flavor, which makes it pretty well balanced and basically delicious. Yeah, that's good. It's really good. And that's really meh. That's it. I'm going to give this one to Hofbräu. Hofbräu is the best of the 32 beers. So, for those of you who are watching who have rated Weihenstephaner on the beer site so high and Hofbräu not as high, maybe you ought to go back and try them side by side. And for those of you who haven't tried them side by side but think that Weihenstephaner is better than Hofbräu, try them side by side. you'll see that there's a difference between the two, and you're going to see that this one is more hoppy and more bitter and more flavorful. And when I'm saying bitter, I'm not using that in a bad way. It's a good bitter. With this is basically like you took this and added some water to it. That's the best way to describe it. No thanks, I don't want water in my beer. Although this is still good, this has performed exceptionally well in the bracket. But it just doesn't cut the mustard compared to Hofbräu. Now, the 32 beer bracket challenge is finished, with Hofbräu taking the win. But I still have a shitload of beer in my refrigerator that didn't make, I have to buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack of some beers in order to participate because I couldn't find them by the singles. So I'll do some bonus or what if side-by-side comparisons. I still got some Budvar in there. Budvar has already gone up against Hofbräu and lost, but it won once, it lost once. So maybe I'll put it up against Weihenstephaner and see how it does. And we've got, I don't know, I don't think I have any more Kronenbourg, which perform exceptionally well. Might be good to see how Budweiser goes up, or Czechvar goes up against Kronenbourg. I've got some Grolsch. I've got Budweiser, Miller High Life, Miller Genuine Draft, Coors, the typical shit lagers. So, I might do some more side-by-sides just for shits and giggles. All right, that's it. Hofbräu, the best.